Alright guys, so today's video we're looking at a new pair of wireless over-the-ear headphones, and to be honest I haven't been excited about a pair of wireless over-the-ear headphones in quite a while. So today's video I'm excited to review the new Sennheiser Momentum 3s. So let's go ahead and start with this. These are priced at $400, and I think a lot of people are going to want to try and compare these to the Sony 1000X M3 or the Bose QC35-2s or the Bose 700. And I think by the end of the video, maybe you'll see my standpoint on this, that I don't think they should be compared. Let's just go ahead and look at what's in the box and some of the features that these have. Now they do have Bluetooth 5.0, but they also have the ability to simultaneously connect to two devices at one time. So you can have your phone and your tablet, or your laptop and your phone. That way if you're watching something or doing something and a phone call comes in, it won't interrupt what you're doing. You don't have to like stop and switch or just any of that. It's really convenient to be able to use. Now these are aptX and AAC compatible, so you are getting the best Bluetooth codec that you can get. Now as far as what comes inside the box, it comes with this really nice case, although I wish it would have been a hard case. I do like the material of it. It definitely resembles the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless Earbuds case, where it has that fabric material. So I do think this is something that's going to get dirty easily. Now the convenience of the design is if you have the headphones out, it kind of does collapse and doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Now also inside the case there's a little pouch where your other accessories are included. Now it comes with a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter, pretty much a proprietary cable, because it has the twist and lock, so that when you put the cable inside the headphone, you have to kind of twist it, lock it in there, and it keeps the cable from being yanked out. Now the downfall to this is if it comes to a point where you need to replace the cable, it's not going to be as easy to do that. Now as far as the charging cable, it does come with USB-C. Battery life on these is around 17 hours, and I think I got more so around like 15 to 16. So battery life for an over-the-ear pair of headphones is actually more on the downside, considering there's some that get 30 hours, 24, 40, in that range. But these are doing a lot, so I can kind of understand why the battery life kind of suffers a little. All right, so now let's look at the headphones themselves, because I think this is where you start to see where your money's going. The headband and the ear pads on these are actually made from premium leather. It's not the knockoff stuff. I mean, you can tell by the feel of it, you can tell by the smell. Now this is one of those pair when you put them on, it is very comfortable and very soft, which is kind of surprising considering the headband doesn't have a whole lot of padding. Now one of the things that I do want to point out, and I always point this out, is this has the loose cables on the inside of the headphones. It's just part of a lot of wireless headphone designs, but it makes me extremely nervous that at any point something can cut it, clip it, pull it, and if anything happens to the cable, your headphones are pretty much useless. Now outside of that design, to be able to adjust, it has the sliding mechanism where basically the headphone just kind of slides up and down the headband. Also, to be able to turn these on and off, because there's no on or off button, you simply fold these down to shut them off. And when you want to turn them on, you just open them up and put them on your head. It's very weird at first because you just feel like you should be doing something else. But another thing that kind of makes me leery about this is a lot of times I just take my headphones off and I sit them down. Like if I forget to fold them down, that means they're going to stay on, which means the battery is just gonna die. So it's something you're just gonna have to remember to fold them down. It also has the feature where you take the headphones off and it will automatically pause your music, and then when you put them back on, it will go ahead and resume. And this is a very nice feature to have. Other than that, as far as controls, now this again was something that was pretty surprising considering a lot of headphones have touch controls. These are still relying on physical buttons. So you have your 3 buttons that control play, pause, skip forward, go backwards, even your volume control. But then you have a separate button for your assistant, and then you have a toggle switch that turns your noise canceling on or off, but also has it where you push it down to be able to turn on your awareness mode. Now it does have the awareness mode where it turns on the microphones to amplify what's going on in the outside. That way you can hear or talk to somebody and not have to take your headphones off. And it works very, very well with these headphones. I personally like touch controls, but again, having physical buttons sometimes just makes it easy because touch controls aren't always consistent. Now, before we get into everything else, I do want to stress that it is very important that you get Sennheiser's app to be able to get the most out of these headphones. Now, you don't have to have the app to be able to connect to your phone or your device and just use them, but to be able to use Sennheiser's EQ settings. In this pair of headphones, they even have the feature where it has the tile built into it so that you're able to track where your headphones are, so that if you leave them somewhere or you lose them, you just simply pull up the app and it will locate where your headphones are. And I think that is a very nice touch. I originally saw this in the Skull Candy venues, so to see this feature being rolled out into other pair of headphones means that it is something that's useful, and I definitely see the point of having this. But also within the app, like immediately I had an update to go ahead and do, so it allows you to update them. Again, being able to EQ these things are very important because everybody's taste in sound is completely different, and the EQ definitely makes a huge difference with these. But we'll get into that when we get into the sound. There's also 3 different levels of the active noise canceling. You basically, we'll just say small, medium, large. If you want a little bit toned out, you want a little bit more, and then you want your most. Now this is where I think you can't really compare them to the Sony or the Bose, because even though the noise canceling is very good, it blocks out a whole lot of the noise around you, I don't think these are aimed at being noise canceling headphones. I think this is more of an afterthought feature, where I think these are more just geared towards sound. So even though I think the noise canceling is very, very good, I don't think it's great in comparison to the Sony or the Bose. Now, the reason I say this is Sennheiser also have the PXC 550s, which is their true noise canceling pair of headphones. And they are releasing a new version of these, like, this has got to be really soon. So I think that is the pair that's more geared to be competition for Sony and Bose, where I think these are more geared towards being like the stronger sounding pair of headphones. The mics that are on these are also optimized to be able to really gear towards speech. So it's honing in on your voice, picking up your voice very well. So for people that wear these like at the airport or for business purposes, know that your calls are gonna come through extremely well. But you guys can be a judge by listening to the test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test of the wireless Momentum. As you can tell, it is really focused in on my voice, and it even picks up bass tones pretty well. All right, so now let's talk about the sound. The sound, honestly, is where I think you're putting all your money into, because out of wireless headphones, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is one of the best pair of wireless headphones I've heard. And that's even just without EQing them. But once I kind of adjusted the way that I like it to, I bumped up the bass a little bit, just the treble, just a tad bit more, and it has so much life to the sound. Even leaving it like it is, it has so much life to the sound. Now, I think that might be a downfall to some, because if you buy a pair of Sennheiser headphones and you just want that flat sound signature, I didn't think that that was really possible with these. I tried to tweak it to get it to that, and it never has that flat response that you get with some studio style headphones or some of like Sennheiser's open back headphones. So do know that going in. Like, these are built and geared to be just this very dynamic sound, because bass has this thick feel to it. It's very, very punchy. It is clean, but if you want to tone it up, you can have it where you can feel vibration of bass on the ear pads. And that's the way that I like to have bass. But I also like to have it where that bass is not killing everything else out. And that's the beauty of these too, because treble is pushed up to the point that it is very, very bright if you want it to be. It is very crisp, it's very clean. It never got to where it was harsh, to where your ears just can't handle it. It just had a very nice turned up sound. Now, this was the surprising thing, because I think most headphones, when they try to amp up the bass or amp up the treble, usually the mids fall flat. And it was never the case with these. These felt like they were very geared towards vocals. I felt like male vocals, especially ones that have raspy voices, or female vocals where there's a bunch of different tonal change, you could definitely tell where everything changed. You could feel the raspiness of it. It was great with all genres, because even genres where just bass is so prominent or things are just a lot going on, you can tell that separation in instruments. You can tell where the vocals and everything was coming from. So the sound imaging was very, very nice. But I do think that the sound stage, and then this is one of the things that it kind of surprised me, the sound stage is not as open as I'm used to with Sennheiser headphones, as to where I think most of the time you feel like you're in a concert hall, or at least in a place where like the band is just kind of spread out. You usually feel a little more openness. Now, I don't know if it's because of the bass or the amped up treble or things like that, but it just felt a little more closed in. That's a minor complaint, and I'm really comparing that to other Sennheiser headphones that I've tried. And a lot of them are wired headphones, and those type of headphones you have a lot more control with. So, cons on these. I do not like the cable inside of the headband. It's just one of those things I don't like and probably never will. I really wish they would have tried to squeeze a little bit more battery life out of these, where I think 17 hours obviously is fun, but 24 to 30 hours is a much better range, and at least a more common range. And when you're spending this kind of money, that's just something you would like to have. Now, my other con is not really a con for me because it doesn't apply to me, but I think being able to get that flat response would have been nice. There's a lot of audio purists that just want a clean, flat sound signature where nothing is being amplified, where I feel like these are being amplified at all times. And also the proprietary cable. I've never been a fan of proprietary cables, but this is also a wireless headphone first, so I mean, how many times are you going to use the cable? So I think personally, these are well worth the $400. I think the comfort's there. I think the features are there. I absolutely love the sound in these. You're definitely getting what you pay for. So guys, that is my review of the new Sennheiser Momentum 3s. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.